6:42 a.m., the Strait of Hormuz. The morning sun has barely cracked the eastern horizon, painting the water in shades of gold and copper that have absolutely no idea they are about to be replaced by the black and orange of burning warships. 4 Iranian naval vessels, the Moudge-class frigates IRIS Sahand and IRIS Jamaran, the Alvand-class frigate IRIS Alborz, and the destroyer IRIS Damavand, are cutting through the narrow waters of the world's most strategically vital choke point in a tight attack formation. Their crews are battle-ready, their weapons are hot, their commanding officers have been promised immortality in the history books of the Islamic Republic. Tehran's Supreme Naval Command believes it has assembled the most daring surface strike operation in Iranian military history. 4 warships converging simultaneously on the USS Abraham Lincoln from multiple approach vectors. A coordinated broadside of anti-ship missiles, naval guns, and torpedoes designed to overwhelm the carrier's escort screen and deliver a killing blow to the crown jewel of the United States Fifth Fleet. The admirals in Tehran are watching satellite feeds with sweaty palms and hearts full of revolutionary conviction. They believe they have finally engineered the moment that changes everything. They believe 4 warships are enough to rewrite the balance of power in the Persian Gulf forever. They believe America will hesitate, negotiate, and ultimately retreat when confronted with the burning hull of its most celebrated carrier. There is one variable their war games never once accounted for. One cold, brutal mathematical reality that is going to reduce all 4 of their warships to burning wreckage in less time than it takes to finish breakfast. The USS Abraham Lincoln does not travel alone. It travels at the center of a carrier strike group whose combined firepower exceeds the entire Iranian naval defense budget for the last 2 decades. Welcome to Operation Steel Horizon. The morning 4 Iranian warships sailed into the most heavily defended stretch of water on the planet and discovered that arrogance carries a price measured in thousands of tons of displaced steel and the names of sailors who should never have been given this order. Do not look away, because the next 48 minutes will teach the world exactly what happens when a regional navy challenges the absolute surface dominance of the United States. Before we dive into the details, let me know in the comments which country you are watching from. Now, let's get to it. Everyone thinks that 4 surface warships launching a coordinated multi-axis attack represents a credible threat to a carrier. They are dangerously and fatally wrong. What looks like bold asymmetric naval warfare from the deck of an Iranian frigate is, from inside the Combat Information Center of the USS Abraham Lincoln, nothing more than a slow-motion target acquisition problem with a solution that was loaded and ready before the Iranian formation ever cleared its home port. Here is what the world consistently refuses to understand about carrier strike group doctrine. The Abraham Lincoln is never the first line of defense. It is the last. Everything standing between an enemy surface threat and that carrier is a layered gauntlet of radar, aircraft, missiles, torpedoes, and electronic warfare so deeply integrated that 4 warships do not represent a danger. They represent a gift. 4 confirmed surface targets that American weapons systems will engage, track, and destroy with the cold efficiency of a machine built and refined for exactly this scenario over 4 consecutive decades. The Iranian admirals thought they were hunters closing in on sleeping prey. They were walking voluntarily into the world's most expensive and most lethal trap. Arrogance does not just kill men. Sometimes it sinks entire fleets before breakfast. Here is the central question that defines this engagement. Can 4 Iranian surface warships successfully prosecute an attack against a U.S. carrier strike group operating in the Strait of Hormuz? The answer is delivered not in diplomatic language, but in burning oil slicks spreading across morning waters. In the next few minutes, we are going to break down the sensor architecture that tracked the Iranian formation from the moment it left port, the layered anti-surface warfare doctrine that pre-assigned multiple kill solutions to every enemy hull before a single Iranian gun was elevated. the air and missile response that turned 4 warships into 4 separate columns of black smoke visible from orbit, and the final accounting that left Tehran's naval command staring at empty radar screens where 4 ships used to be. Drop your country in the comments. This is not a regional skirmish. This is a masterclass in consequence that every naval planner on Earth will spend the next decade studying with great discomfort. Rewind 72 hours. Inside the Fortified Naval Operations Center at Bandar Abbas, Admiral Qasim Shirazi stands before a room of senior IRGC naval officers with the expression of a man who has confused audacity with capability. His plan, codenamed Operation Persian Glory, covers 4 wall-mounted screens in precise tactical detail, 4 warships, 3 approach vectors, a coordinated salvo of 48 C-802 and Noor anti-ship missiles fired simultaneously from within 15 miles of the carrier strike group, the core assumption underpinning the entire plan, that the American escort screen cannot simultaneously intercept 48 inbound missiles while also defending against direct gun and torpedo attacks from 4 converging surface threats. On paper, the saturation math appears challenging. In reality, it is the strategic equivalent of a man arriving to a tank battle carrying a kitchen knife and a belief in destiny. What Admiral Shirazi does not account for is that the USS Abraham Lincoln's AN/S PS-48 and AN/S PY-1B radar systems, supplemented by AN/SPY-6 arrays on the Arleigh Burke escorts, detected his formation the moment it departed Bandar Abbas and have been tracking every hull, every radar emission, and every communication signal for the past 18 hours without interruption. What he does not account for is that E-2D Advanced Hawkeye early warning aircraft have been orbiting at altitude ahead of the carrier since before sunrise, painting every Iranian hull with track files already loaded into every weapon system in the strike group. What he does not account for is that a Los Angeles-class attack submarine has been silently shadowing his formation since the previous afternoon, with 4 Mark 48 ADCAP torpedoes already solution-matched to his 4 specific hull signatures. Admiral Shirazi thought he was delivering a surprise attack. He was leading 4 ships and their entire crews into a steel box with no exit and no survivors. The outcome had been written the moment his ships left the harbor. His sailors simply had not been informed of the ending. 6:42 a.m. The Iranian formation reaches its designated firing coordinates. Admiral Shirazi issues the order. 48 anti-ship missiles leave their rails in a thundering cascade of fire and exhaust smoke that the crew of every Iranian ship will remember as their final moment of absolute certainty. They believe they have just fired the shot that rewrites naval history. They are correct about that. They are catastrophically wrong about whose history is being rewritten and in which direction. Aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln, the tactical action officer does not raise his voice. He does not reach for a phone. He reads the track data the Aegis combat system processed before the Iranian missiles reached subsonic speed, confirms weapons-free authorization with 2 keystrokes, and speaks 2 words into the command net. Engage all. 4 Iranian warships. 4 simultaneous kill solutions assigned and transmitted to every platform in the strike group before the Iranian crews have finished celebrating their launch. The machine that has been waiting patiently for this precise moment has just been told it may begin. The first response comes from above. 4 FA-18E Super Hornets from Strike Fighter Squadron 31, already airborne on combat air patrol at 22,000 feet since before the Iranian formation reached its launch point, roll in on their pre-assigned surface targets without a single additional radio call. Each aircraft carries 2 AGM-84 Harpoon Block, 2 anti-ship missiles, and 2 AGM-88 HARM anti-radiation missiles designated against the Iranian frigate's active fire control radars. The Harpoon is not a nuanced diplomatic instrument. It is a sea-skimming kinetic conviction weighing 1,500 pounds that arrives at 560 miles per hour, with all the conversational subtlety of a structural demolition charge. The FA-18S release from standoff range. 8 harpoons drop from their pylons, ignite, and descend to 3 meters above the wave surface in under 4 seconds. They thought their radar warning receivers would give them time to maneuver. The hidden layer, a harpoon at sea-skimming altitude traveling at Mach 0.85, gives a frigate approximately 12 seconds of warning from detection to impact. 12 seconds to decide. 12 seconds to act. 12 seconds that evaporate into smoke and accomplish nothing whatsoever. 6:47 a.m. The IRIS Sahand absorbs the first 2 impacts, forward section and midship. The detonation ignites her fuel bunkers. A secondary explosion opens her hull below the waterline. She is dead in the water within 40 seconds, burning from bow to stern. Her crew of 140 men abandoning stations in the kind of desperate chaos that Tehran's state media will never broadcast. Simultaneously, the guided missile cruiser USS Leyte Gulf opens its vertical launch cells with a volley of RIM-66 Standard Missile SM-2s assigned against the 48 inbound Iranian anti-ship missiles. The Aegis system does not prioritize. It does not sort. It processes all 48 incoming tracks simultaneously and assigns intercept solutions with the impartial efficiency of mathematics applied to a geometry problem. SM-2s tear from their cells in rapid succession, climbing hard, orienting on their assigned targets, and diving with the terminal certainty of weapons that have been tested against exactly this threat profile hundreds of times. They thought 48 missiles guaranteed penetration. The hidden layer. The strike group carried 120 ready interceptors and an engagement system capable of running 18 simultaneous tracks per hull. 6:51 a.m. 41 of 48 Iranian missiles have been destroyed in the outer intercept layer. 7 breakthrough. The Phalanx CIWS systems aboard USS Gonzalez and USS Cole open up in overlapping defensive sectors. That sound, that mechanical tearing roar of 4,500 depleted uranium rounds per minute, creating a wall of metal across the terminal approach corridor. 5 more kills inside 2 kilometers. 2 missiles remain airborne. 1 is decoyed successfully by a NOCA active expendable launched from the Lincoln's flight deck. The second impacts the waterline hull of USS Gonzalez. The explosion is real. The damage is significant. 3 sailors go down with shrapnel wounds. The ship absorbs the hit and remains fully combat operational within minutes. They thought surviving missiles meant burning American ships. The hidden layer, U.S. Navy warships, are not engineered to sink from a single missile impact. They are engineered to absorb punishment and continue fighting. USS Gonzalez continued fighting without missing a beat. 6:54 a.m. The offensive strike has been executing in parallel with every second of the defensive battle. USS Cole's Mark 40-1 vertical launch system has been dispatching RGM-109 Tomahawk anti-ship variants toward the surviving 3 Iranian frigates since the moment weapons free was authorized. 2 MH-60R Seahawk helicopters off the destroyer, USS Mitcher, have each released 2 Mark 54 lightweight torpedoes into the water directly across the projected tracks of the IRIS Alborz and IRIS Damavand. Below the surface, the Los Angeles-class submarine USS Scranton fires 2 Mark 48 ADCAP torpedoes at the IRIS Jamaran from a position that no Iranian sensor detected at any point during the engagement. These are not suppression shots. These are precisely calculated kill solutions matched to individual hull signatures, fired from a platform that never appeared on Iranian radar, traveling through water that keeps every secret it is given. They thought they were fighting the surface ships they could identify on their own displays. The hidden layer, the weapons that ended this battle, had been invisible and patient beneath the surface since the afternoon before it began. 7:10 a.m. 28 minutes after the Iranian salvo was fired. All 4 Iranian warships have been removed from the surface of the Strait of Hormuz permanently. The IRIS Sahand burned and capsized at 7:02 a.m., her superstructure collapsing into water, still reflecting the morning sun. The IRIS Alborz, struck simultaneously by 2 Mark 54 torpedoes, broke apart amidships and sank in under 4 minutes without transmitting a single distress call. The IRIS Damavand, hit by a tomahawk in her engine compartment, followed by a second harpoon strike from a follow-on FA-18 pass, it burned with such intensity that her ammunition magazines cooked off in a chain of secondary explosions, audible from the Abraham Lincoln's flight deck 18 miles away. The IRIS Jamaran, Admiral Shirazi's flagship and the symbol of Iranian naval modernity, absorbed a Mark 48 ADCAP torpedo directly beneath her keel. The explosion broke her back in 2 sections. She sank in 6 minutes and 20 seconds. Admiral Shirazi did not make it to a lifeboat. Operation Persian Glory, the plan designed to humiliate America and announce Iranian naval dominance, concluded with 4 spreading oil slicks, floating debris across 8 miles of contested water, and American search and rescue helicopters searching for survivors in seas that provided very few. This is not fiction built for entertainment. In April 1988, during Operation Praying Mantis, the United States Navy sank or mission-killed half of Iran's entire operational fleet in a single day of combat in direct response to Iranian mine warfare against American-flagged vessels. The engagement proved every core principle of American anti-surface warfare doctrine. The technology has been refined through 36 years of additional development since that day. The outcome for any regional navy that elects direct surface confrontation with a U.S. carrier strike group has become more mathematically inevitable with every year of continued American investment in its naval weapons systems. The weapon that decided this engagement before the first Iranian order was given deserves a moment of recognition. The AGM-84, Harpoon Block II, continuous service with the U.S. Navy since 1977, range 124 miles, speed Mach 0.85, warhead 221 kilograms of penetrating high explosive. Terminal guidance, active radar homing immune to every electronic countermeasure currently deployed on Iranian surface combatants. Cost $1.2 million. The Harpoon does not factor in crew size or revolutionary commitment or years of training. It locates the largest radar return inside its terminal acquisition window and converts that return into fire and displaced water at 560 miles per hour. When 8 of them found 4 Iranian frigates on this particular morning, Tehran lost more than 4 ships. It lost the foundational assumption that its surface fleet represented meaningful leverage in any confrontation with American naval power. That assumption will not be rebuilt in this generation. Final tally: 4 Iranian warships entered the Strait of Hormuz as aggressors. 0 departed. American fatalities, 0. American vessels sunk, 0. USS Gonzalez, 3 sailors wounded and minor hull damage, fully combat operational within 48 hours. 48 Iranian anti-ship missiles fired. 46 intercepted and destroyed. 2 impacted American hulls. 0 American ships lost. This was not a battle in any meaningful sense. It was 48 minutes of consequence delivered to men who were told arrogance was strategy and revolutionary passion was a substitute for technological parity. The Strait of Hormuz does not belong to regional ambition. It operates under the silent authority of the most powerful naval force ever assembled by any civilization in the history of warfare. The 4 oil slicks spreading southeast on the morning current are the only statement that needs to be made. What do you think? Leave your country and your honest analysis in the comments. Can any regional fleet on Earth survive a direct surface engagement with a U.S. carrier strike group? Or is this the permanent and unclosable reality of a technological gap measured in decades and hundreds of billions of dollars? subscribe, and hit the notification bell. More lessons are being written, and more arrogance is waiting to be answered with precision and absolute finality. Arrogance kills. Technology dominates. America finishes. Victory is ours.